11:54 a.m. PT, Hollywood weapons expert Steve Wolf is giving his take on what he thinks Alec Baldwin means when he says he didn't pull the trigger, and it sounds like it all boils down to semantics. Wolf gave us a demonstration Wednesday on TMZ Live, using a similar style gun to what Alec is reported to have had in his hand that day, and based on what he shows here, it's quite obvious that any slight amount of pressure on the trigger could cause the gun to fire. In other words, Wolf thinks Alec is trying to say he didn't intentionally pull the trigger, but suggesting his finger wasn't on the trigger at all is ludicrous. Well, see how Ab explains it. Alec Baldwin says he didn't pull the trigger on the gun that killed Halyna Hutchins, the first time we've heard him make the new claim, and leaving many more questions to be answered. The actor is speaking out about the Russ tragedy in his first sit-down interview, which will air Thursday on ABC. The network just released a teaser for what is to be discussed, and carries a lot to unpack, including his claim that he didn't squeeze the trigger. In a nearly 2-minute clip, you hear anchor George Stephanopoulos peppering Baldwin with questions, and it sounds like he's asking everything that most everybody has wondered about this story, and Alex seems to respond to much of it, oftentimes in emotional terms. One question revolves around the alleged fact that Alec pulling the trigger during the rehearsal that day was not called for in the script, at least according to people who've sued over this so far. Jim Weber / Santa Fe, New Mexican. Immediately in response, Alec is heard saying, "Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger." Geest seems stunned, but Ab insists he'd never point a gun at someone and fire. Of course, this would mean Baldwin is suggesting the gun was fired on its own. Facebook /search Fetnoy. There's not much clarity on what Alec means exactly, but we suppose everyone will get the answer when this chat hits the airwaves tomorrow. Originally published, 10:43 a.m. PT.